Sanaz, you know what you like? You're like when you talked to me the other day, and I just want our listeners to see my incredible line-free forehead that you did because you gave me Botox. I went to Sanez because I just needed to, get myself looking a little bit more rested. When you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not good. You were so gracious in giving me the Botox that I'd requested, but then you had said that you just need laser. You don't need any kind of surgery, just laser. It'll make you feel good and look good, and your skin will glow. And as you and I were talking, we were talking about, growing older, and you mentioned your mom. And this is where I was thinking this morning. You're like a good book that I can't wait to sit down and open up and read your story. So I'm
Mhm.
just so excited to have you today
Well, thank
because
you for having me.
absolutely, you mentioned your mom, 75, and runs 3 miles a day. And that made me love you because I had to find out the story of your mom who
Mhm,
made you an amazing surgeon with my
mhm,
Houston surgeons. So, do you
mhm.
mind if we start out talking about your mom?
Of course. She's 72, by the way. She would
72.
kill
Okay.
me. She would kill me if I added 3 years.
She's in
So
her
she's
70s.
72,
Yeah.
fabulous, and always my inspiration for sure.
So, what gets her motivated? Because a lot of, so many of us moms we want to do a good job for our children. And, do we go overboard? Do we not do enough? It's always the question that a mom has, that mom guilt. What was your mom's approach?
I think she did it really well because her focus was always on the children. But at the same time, she always understood taking care of herself was part of taking care of her children. And it's funny, she tells me the story as a way to get me to exercise all the time. That when she was in her 40s, she saw some woman in her 70s working out at the gym. And she had this conversation with the woman, and the woman said that she does it for her children. So she'll live a long, healthy life for her children.
I love that.
And that's always kind of been my inspiration, that, we do it for our children, but we have to take care of ourselves to be able to give back. And it's always, a balance. It's a struggle. I don't do it perfectly. I'm not perfect, but I try my best.
Now you've got
Um,
two of your own children. So you've got two little ones.
I do. I do. I have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old. They're 13 months apart.
Wow.
My husband and I are both busy surgeons that love what we do, and we are unconditionally committed to our family. So we just try our best. We try to realize that we, no matter what, always have the best intentions. That we're not always perfect, but that we just try to raise children that are good humans and good people and show love and love each other, and hopefully will contribute to the world in a positive way.
I've been talking with this woman who's a little bit older than me, maybe 15 years older than me. She's in her late 70s, and she has an estranged son. And I just mentioned, I said, well, did you ever try to maybe apologize for your shortcomings, not to take responsibility for the way he is, but just to apologize for your shortcomings as a mom? Because I know with me, I've got 5 adult children, and I've apologized to every single one of them individually
Right.
for messing up over here, causing you
Mm-hmm.
stress over here. And it's really helped us be so much closer because my heart softened. I became more empathetic to them. They didn't ask to be born. I live a chaotic life, and I've
Mm-hmm.
made some messes of situations that I
Mm-hmm.
just apologize. I was wondering if your mom ever did that with you.
Um, I don't recall that, to be honest, but she was always incredibly kind.
Yeah.
Um, Always dealt with things with so much love and kindness. And as children, we were always taught that we could achieve anything if we worked hard enough, and that even if we made a mistake, it was okay.
Mhm.
Um, like we were never made to feel bad for our mistakes.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something that, I mean, I've apologized to my 4 and 5-year-old children many times, because,
Yes.
I've made mistakes already, and you try to, you try to emulate the behavior that you want them to learn. And And they need to learn that, like, yeah, if they make a mistake, that they can recover from it.
Right.
And that the people that love you will love you no matter what.
No matter what.
And that we all make mistakes and that that's okay. That's part of growth.
Yeah. You know, I want our viewers to just know that the woman who's talking with this heart, you are a surgeon. You try to help people feel better about themselves, and you've got a
Mhm,
heart. You're a human being, a mom, a
mhm,
wife,
mhm,
a lady, a
mhm,
daughter, and
mhm.
it I want people to understand that you have a heart. And so when they come to you and ask you to help me feel more confident, the
Mhm.
way that you approach it is it's really beautiful.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I'm a facial plastic surgeon. You know, that's what I do. Is I do surgery everywhere from the neck up, whether it's rhinoplasties and facelifts and neck lifts. And my goal is to always make people feel their best.
Yeah.
But I'm also a woman, you know, and I'm also a person, and I've had work done myself. And I try to make my patients understand that I've been there,
Yeah.
and that I'm part of their journey and I'm part of their process, and that I'll be there for them. And I hope that comes through.
Yeah, that's amazing. What made you get into this field? What was it? Something in your childhood? Just you got captivated, maybe an inspiration along
Mhm.
the way?
Um, you know, since youth, I've always gravitated towards medicine. I think that was, you know, my parents. My father is a PhD in organic chemistry. My mom's a pharmacist. You know, my father always really loved working with his hands. He was a builder. You know, so I've always gravitated towards medicine, and then, you know, that naturally led to a love for surgery. And then in medical school, I would say the one case that changed my path was, you know, I was scrubbed into some big tumor resection of the jaw. So it was a gentleman who had a big tumor of the jaw, and they removed it. And obviously, that leaves both functional and aesthetic consequences. And then they reconstructed it. So for me, I loved facial plastic surgery. Honestly, I loved the big head and neck cancer cases. I loved them. I found them to be so fascinating, and I loved the patients, but it was so sad. My personality was such that I was so emotionally invested in the patients that it was hard for me to go down that path. Um, so the reconstructive side was artistic and scientific and beautiful, but happier. Um, so it was more in line with my personality. So yeah, and then that kind of just led to, you know, my love for aesthetics and just making people feel good about themselves. And now, you know, I have a primary cosmetic practice. So that's my story.
It is so cool. Now, when you walk into a room and you look at all these women, are you saying, "Yep, I can do that for her, that for her, that for her, that for her, done. She'll be amazing." I don't know how you
Yes.
could not think that.
Yeah, yes, to a certain extent. That's just my how my eye is trained, but
Right.
I never want people to feel that though, right? I want
I
them to
know.
feel beautiful regardless, and that's why if you come and see me, I'll never be the first one to point out things that you don't point out, right? Because I
Right.
never want people to feel insecure about things that they feel very good
Right.
about
Right.
themselves, right? So I'll be the first one when patients come to me and they're like, should I get my nose done? I'm like, well, what do you think? Should you get your nose done? You know, what are the things that bother you? Because there's no ideal aesthetic for anybody, right? It's not like you have to look a certain way. It's all about what is it that you want to improve, whether that's, you know, you're a beautiful 60-year-old woman and you feel so youthful on the inside, but you feel like your neck doesn't reflect that, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about making you feel like your outside matches your inside. Um, so no, I love what I do.
Now, you Meredith is the CEO. This is a group of doctors. You all have your special expertise. And if you go to Houston Surgeons, myhoustonsurgeons.com, you'll kind of learn about every doctor, things that make you
Mm-hmm,
tick, things that you're
mm-hmm,
an expert at.
mm-hmm,
And did Meredith, the CEO, who was also a patient, I love telling that story. She was
mm-hmm,
referred to you all after
mm-hmm,
breast cancer, reconstructive surgery.
mm-hmm,
Her doctor loved her spirit and said, "Would you come and helped share our story. And now she's your CEO. She's your boss.
Absolutely.
Did
Absolutely.
she find you? Were you already there? How did that relationship work out? Because you're a very blessed lady.
Sure. No, I am. Honestly, so my husband is Dr. Cooper on. He's one of the sinus surgeons in the practice. So
Yes.
the practice is a group of facial plastic surgeons such as myself, plastic surgeons, and sinus surgeons or rhinologists. So it's a group of surgeons whose overall mission is to make you feel your best, right? Whether that is through helping you breathe better, through helping you sleep better, through snoring, whether that's, mommy makeovers and making you feel better about your body or facelifts. So my husband actually joined the practice before I did. He had joined Dr. Boutros at the time. And honestly, he loved it so much and had such a great experience being part of that team
Yeah.
that then I eventually joined the practice.
So
And
it's like family.
it's like family. That was 7 years ago or six, something like that, 6.5 years ago. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Now you're in the memorial area now around Gessner, which exit? Yeah, it was around the Gessner area off I-10. But you plan on expanding to the Woodlands? Is what's going on there?
Yes. So we're currently near I-10 and Campbell.
Campbell, that's right.
And we currently have an office in the Woodlands. It's a beautiful space, but we're building a much larger one that's really tailored to, offer a huge range of services. So whether that is the surgeons that are going to be there, the sinus surgeons, the facial plastic surgeons, the plastic surgeons, and then we're going to have a beautiful med spa that's going to offer all of the range of non-surgical services. So whether that's injectables, fillers, Botox, lasers. It's going to be really exciting.
It's just so neat. There are so many choices out there, and people, just women and men, we're not quite sure where to go. So when you meet someone who just, I connected with you when you told me about your mom, it just makes me feel so comfortable. It's like I found my home for you to help me on my journey of aging, where I age better. We have all this technology to help us age. I'd like to do as little as possible, but your suggestions are so wise. And I just really appreciate that.
Of course, that we're always here to listen and we're always here to be involved in your journey.
What would people do if they're thinking about making themselves look more youthful, like, but they don't know? I did a lot of research and that's why I
Mhm.
went to you all. What advice would you give to women and men who just are going, you know what, it's time?
Come and see me. It starts with a consultation. So it
Mm-hmm.
starts with coming in and we come up with a plan based on what bothers you and based on what your goals are. Not everybody wants surgery. Not everybody wants, and some people want surgery. So we talk about what's bothering you, what kind of downtime, what your goals are, and then we come up with a plan that works with your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. It just seems so peaceful and comfortable. And I appreciate the way that you were with me. I
Oh,
love my
good.
Botox.
I'm so glad.
I feel so much better. And
Good.
you taught me a lot. And I love the wisdom of your mother, because that helped me a lot in my aging, because I exercise every day. And I was like, I plan on doing it 72, 78,
Mhm.
because I do know it does give me that energy for the kids and the grandkids,
Mhm.
you know?
Absolutely. You're a busy lady. You're
Yes.
a
But you are too. And the fact that you and your husband, how do you make it work? I mean, that's amazing. Do you like over dinner talk about, oh, I had this patient today and I had this patient today? That's got to be so cool.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. He's an amazing man. He's an amazing surgeon and he's an amazing father. I'm very lucky and we've worked together our whole training. And I love it because he understands my life. Being
Yes.
married to a busy surgeon is not easy. Um, and we can talk about things like we do cases together. So, when a patient comes in and they have issues with chronic sinusitis, but they also want a rhinoplasty, we'll do surgery together. And that's really the beauty of it is it's a practice that's like a one-stop shop. You know, everyone has their niche, everyone has their expertise, whether it's sinus surgery or a Brazilian butt lift or a breast augmentation. Everyone has something that they've really cultivated as their expertise. And the beauty of me and my husband is we can do cases together. We talk about the patients sometimes, when we go home and we're like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Two minds are always better than one.
Right, right.
We collaborate, and the same applies to other people in the practice. Is, sometimes I'll be doing a surgery and I'll do a facelift, and a patient will want a mastopec seal. They'll want a breast lift at the same time, and I'll bring in one of my partners and we'll do the surgery together. We'll collaborate. And you don't really get that at a lot of places,
right,
where
right.
it's really about a bunch of surgeons who come together to give the patient the best result. And you get an expert in the field in each individual field.
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, your resumes are amazing. And are you from Houston normally? I mean, are you a native Houstonian, or did you move here?
I'm not. I'm from New Jersey.
Get away. I'm a
Yeah,
New Yorker. I knew there was a
are you?
connection there.
Yeah. I'm from New Jersey. My husband's from upstate New York.
Wait a minute. Where upstate New York?
He's from Buffalo.
Okay. I ran my state track championship 440 relay in Buffalo, New York.
Did you?
One and only time I'd been to Buffalo.
Yeah. Best buffalo chicken sandwich ever, for sure. And then we both went to Brown University in Rhode Island, but we didn't know each other. And then, I went to NYU for medical school. He went to upstate New York for medical school. And then we both did our fellowships in Miami. Mm-hmm. And then after Miami, we both got job offers to go back to New York City, but it was hard to go back to the cold after living. So Houston was perfect. It's, in midway both of our families. My family lives in Los Angeles. His family lives in Maryland. So we've been here now for 8 years.
I'm so glad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you're here and that you chose our city with your incredible practice. And it's so good. It was like I had to learn about you so I could share you with other Houston women. So thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy. And how could people get in touch with you? What would be the best thing to do? So
you can go to www.myhoustonsurgeons.com and look for Dr. Sanaz Harirchian. And you can also go to my Instagram, which is Dr. Sanaz, Sanaz. So Dr. Sanaz Plastic Surgery. All right. And Instagram, Dr. Sanaz Plastic Surgery. Lots of pictures there. It's a beautiful site. I encourage our viewers to check it out. Thank you for your time. And you're quite an inspiration. I always say our Houston women make our city a little bit more sparkly and beautiful. And you definitely help do that. Literally. You literally. I appreciate that. You're too kind. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. And lots of love to your husband and your children. Thanks. Have a good day.